Today, I want to talk about perhaps the most important lesson I've ever learned. Completely changed my life. And I want to talk about it for two reasons. One, because I'm incredibly grateful for the situation and for having met the person that I'll be talking about, which is crazy 6 years later to still be referencing this as something that's transformative in my life. And two, because I understand there's an element of luck to it. And it could very easily not have happened. And I know a lot of people, very capable people, very hardworking people, haven't received this lesson. They haven't had that stroke of luck yet or run into anything like this. And so I want to be that source for you and pass this along, because I think with the right intentions and right mindset, this could really be a game-changing idea. I'm going to jump right into it with the story and how it came to be. So the story begins about 6 years ago. I just moved to Florida. My business was relatively new. The YouTube channel was making about $1,500 a month. Wasn't enough, certainly, to live off of. And so I was looking for other ways to, grow revenue. I was writing speeches for execs and coaches, all kinds of different folks. I was creating videos for companies, just doing what I could, right? And so one morning I woke up and I had this email from a man named Rod, who said, it was titled, "How Can I Help You?" And I opened the email, and essentially he introduces himself, explains who he is, a very accomplished founder of some companies that you've certainly heard of, a Hollywood producer, just a very, very interesting and talented guy. And I'm reading this, and when you're in the struggle, when you're sludging through, you feel like, you're taking a lot of L's. And to get something like this, it's very uplifting, right? I was super excited about it. The point of his email, he was saying, "Eddie, I have a speech coming up. I'm giving a keynote. I'd love for you to help me write it." And I responded, "Absolutely, 100%, I'm in, let's do this." So he flew from LA to South Florida, and I met him at Margaritaville. And we're talking, and he's sort of explaining what he's looking for and the writing process and his stories and what he has prepared. He says, "Do you think that's something you can do?" And I said, "Absolutely." And he says, "All right, how much is it gonna cost?" And I said, what I felt in the moment was the only thing to say, the right thing. I said, "Rod, I don't care. I just want to work with people that are accomplished. I want to be around people like you so that I can learn and just be a part of what you're doing." Thinking, yeah, crush that answer, right? Hit that out of the park. Who cares about the money? And I honestly, to this day, again, it's been 6 years. I'll never forget this. He pauses for a long time, looks up at me and goes, "Eddie, be a fucking salesman." Takes out a checkbook, wrote it for more than I've ever gotten on a project, by a lot. And he says, "From now on, you're never worth less than this number." And I took the check, acted like I wasn't ecstatic, played it cool, shook hands, said, "Thank you, I'll be in touch with the first draft." And I walked out of Margaritaville, and honestly, it was one of the best moments of my life. And surprisingly, not because of the check. Don't get me wrong, I needed the money, right? When you don't have cash and you get cash, it's a comforting thing. But the real win for me was, it was the first time I realized how much control I had over my own value. It was the idea, of course, I'm only valued to this extent. That's how I see myself. No one will ever value you more than you do. No one ever comes up and says, "Hey, I'm so excited for you to do X, Y, and Z," if you aren't excited about it, if you don't believe it's gonna happen. And so that was sort of the initial eye-opening moment that was like, dude, you need to expand how you view the world, yourself, and the way you operate within the world. Looking back, I understand the chance, right? The luck that was contained in that moment that could very easily not have happened. And it makes me wonder, how long would it have taken me to realize how much control I have over that process? That is the idea, that's the message. And so I want to share 3 areas of my life where I implemented that idea, where, Eddie, you need to increase your value. You need to increase the way you see yourself so the world will respond and conform, and just show you the impact that simple idea, that simple understanding can make. So the first area I implemented that control was in how I saw myself. Like, I gave myself permission to see me as a high performer. And that's incredibly valuable, right? I always saw myself as someone who worked hard, no question. I saw myself as someone who was building a reputable brand, right? A good brand with a long way to go. I saw myself as someone who was capable and in the weeds building, but I didn't see myself as someone adding value now. I didn't see myself as the CEO of an impactful company now, right? I was taking that value and saying, I will be that person someday down the road. And two things can be true at once, right? You can be building, you can be in the weeds, you can have a long way to go. You can be humble about the process, but you can also see yourself as the person you want to be now. And in fact, when you do, the world corresponds. I'm no longer Eddie building this platform who will someday be the person I want to be. No, I'm a CEO now. I'm a high value individual now. I'm capable now. Am I working towards more? Absolutely. But right now, I'm making a difference. And just the energy change. The people around you feel it. The world feels it. That's a real tangible thing. And you create dissonance too between the actions that don't align with that, right? Thought experiment. You wake up, first thing, right? Your feet hit the ground, you get out of bed, you see yourself as a CEO of a company, right? Your company that you're building, and then you put your sweatpants on and go eat Fruit Loops and watch cartoons. That doesn't line up. You start acting in a way that is conducive to the path you want to take. It's an incredibly valuable thing. Don't wait to become that, be that. Again, humility. Two things can be true at once. You're building, you're young, you have ideas, you have passions, but you're also a valuable asset to the world now. So act like it. The second place I implemented that control was in pricing. I was massively undervaluing my work, right? And had a decent track record up to that point too. I mean, I was writing for some CEOs, some, we'll call them life coaches, speaking in front of auditoriums of thousands of people, but still was boxing myself in there. And after that conversation where Rod pointed to that check, I thought, you know what? I'm going to drastically increase my rates. First thing that happened was I got no's. I got told no multiple times, and it was jarring, right? And you deal with that, oh, is this the wrong thing? Like, is this too ambitious? But what happens is you find the right clients, because there were some that said yes, and they happened to be the people that I wanted to work with. And they were reasonable and didn't ask for changes just for the sake of asking for changes. And it felt like a collaboration. It was good. So I'm working with people that I enjoy working with and making more money with fewer clients. Not only that, you get a reputation for working with high-level people. They pass their name to their friends, and on goes the cycle. None of that happens if you don't begin to value yourself more. If you want to be perceived as valuable, you have to price your service in a way that people will perceive it as such. And the third area is relationships, who you surround yourself with. When you start to look at the world through a lens of abundance, you naturally want to surround yourself with people who are chasing down that upside, who see that opportunity. And so it's giving yourself permission to take a seat at the table and feel like you belong there. Giving yourself permission to hang out with folks who may have intimidated you, who have done more, who are accomplished in certain areas. They are on a trajectory and so are you. Life's not a zero-sum game, right? We can all help each other, and you want to surround yourself with people looking at the world that way. That was a huge thing for me. My circle now looks nothing like it did 8 years ago. Very, very, very little overlap. And there's a reason for that. You know, I gave myself permission to be around people that inspire me and who value what I'm doing and push me, right? There's a saying that most people want you to succeed but not do better than them. And seeking out a circle that was truly happy for my success and my accomplishments, it's not an easy thing to do, but it's one of the most important things you can do. And you control that. But like the other two categories, you have to give yourself permission to be worthy of that. There we have it, the most important lesson I've ever learned. Hope you got something from this. Let me know in the comments where you can inject it into your life today. If you got value from this, please like and subscribe. Helps me get it out to other like-minded folks. And lastly, if you're looking for ways to strengthen your mindset and maximize that opportunity, I have a newsletter. It's absolutely free. You can unsubscribe anytime, but I would love to have you part of the community. It's eddiepinero.com/newsletter. I'll have a link in the description as well, and I look forward to seeing you there.